Hey everyone, welcome back to
Hi.
the Travel Talk podcast with Grant and Marissa.
We got fancier this week.
We did get fancier. Yeah, before we get in, I just wanted to show off our fancy new microphones. I feel like we're legit
Yeah, this
podcasters
feels pretty
now.
legit.
But thanks so much to Mono who sent us these couple of microphones. This is the PD200W wireless podcasting microphone, and so we're testing it out for the
Yeah.
first time today. We're really excited to use these microphones because they're actually completely wireless. As you can see here, it's like there's no wires. It's they're just fully, we can pick them up and we can, we can sit back and we can just like
Be
relax and
relaxed.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're really excited to use these and try them out. So it should sound way better than our previous podcasts.
I'm so excited to see how this sounds
Oh
more
yeah,
than
so big
recording.
thanks to Mono for sending them through. But anyway, today we have a really special podcast. It's
Yeah.
a kind of wrapping up the entire year because it
Yeah.
is the end of the year,
A
right?
year
So
in review of
yeah,
travel and adventure.
yeah, and this was like our first full year as travel vloggers. So we've got a whole year of videos, a whole year of trips. We've
Mm-hmm.
done way more trips in this past year than ever. So I think we were just like,
True.
yeah, let's sit back and have a chat about what we've
Yeah.
done and sort of reminisce about what our favorite moments were, what are some of the highlights, what were some of the low lights. But then also after that, we're gonna give a little sneak peek,
Yeah.
right, at
Yeah.
what we're doing next year.
Yeah. Because we've got it roughly planned.
Yeah, it's like yeah, TBD. Things might change a little bit,
Yeah.
but I think our destinations and the sort of timings we're doing them is going to be roughly
Yeah.
right. But yeah, let's get started. I think with let's go through our trips from last year and maybe like give them a little bit of a ranking at
Okay.
what our favorites
Okay. Do we want to
were,
say
right?
what they were in order and that, like, the order we took them and then give our rankings?
I think we could just do the
Just do the
rankings. Let's
rankings?
just
All
do the
right.
rankings.
All right.
Yeah. So I think this list, we sat down and did our lists earlier, and these are almost identical. I think the last two are kind of just changed around. So the
Yeah.
list is basically the same for both of us, which isn't super surprising.
No. We're very similar people in a lot of
Yeah.
ways. Yeah.
All right, so let's start from the bottom. And we'll preface this by like none of the trips were bad.
Yeah.
We had a great time on every trip we took this year. This was just our ranking of how much we enjoyed each one.
All right.
So let's start with number 6.
My number 6 is Norway. And I love Norway. This was our second time going there. But if you're new here, it was not the best experience for me.
Hmm.
I had a little bit of a medical incident on our flight from Iceland to Norway, and it just marred the rest of the trip for me.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of it. A lot of it I only have any kind of memory because I watched our videos.
Hmm.
I can tell watching them that I am very out of it the entire trip.
Yeah.
And if there was a trip that was going to happen on, I'm glad it was that one because it was somewhere we'd been before.
Hmm.
But yeah, it just can't come back from that for me.
Yeah, that's fair. I had this one place higher. Obviously, I didn't have as it was still very traumatic on my side as well. But I think I still think some of the places we went, like Flom in Norway, is still one of my favorite places on
Yeah,
the in the
that's fair.
world. So I think like I can't put it last on my list because
Okay.
it was it was still a great trip. It was yeah, it was definitely marred by some medical issues along the way. But no, Norway was great. But we'll talk about now. I guess we'll go into number 5 for you, but number 6 for me,
You
and
can
that
go.
was our Denmark and Sweden trip.
Yeah, I'm really
Yeah.
surprised that you're ranking this one number 6 for you. And I'm
Mm.
curious as to your reason.
I think like it was great, but I think like in terms of like sort of the places we've been, it just kind of didn't stand out
Didn't wow you.
as much. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was kind of like I enjoyed it. I'm glad we went, but I
Yeah.
don't think I'll like it's not sitting at the top of my list of like, oh, I need to
Okay.
go back there, or
Yeah.
this was like particularly memorable. Like there are certain things we did there which were fantastic and a
Yeah.
great time, but I think I definitely do hold Norway higher than
Yeah.
both of these other. If we're comparing all like Scandinavian places we visited
Yeah,
this year,
fair.
I think Norway edges it out.
And I think part of the reason I'm ranking it lower as well is we know a lot of people that have visited there a lot. We know people that live there,
Mm.
and it was very hyped. I felt
Yeah.
from people that we love and trust, and we had a lot of great
Mhm.
advice going in. And I think compared to somewhere like Norway, where we went in completely cold
Yeah.
the first time we went, it just didn't have that wow factor.
Yeah.
Number 4 is the same for both of us,
Mhm.
and
The rest are all the
the
same.
rest are all the
We
same.
agree on everything else.
So number 4 is Germany and our most recent German Christmas market trip.
Mhm. Not all of those vlogs are even out yet at the time of this,
Yeah,
going live, so there's some more to look forward to in that
maybe
series, but
shooting ourselves a little in the foot, ranking it for it.
no, it was still great. It was fantastic still, but
It was fantastic. The Christmas markets were so magical
mhm.
and beautiful, and it was a really, really great way to celebrate our anniversary.
Yeah, so it was our 10-year wedding anniversary, and we met, if you don't know this already, we met in Munich,
Mhm.
at Oktoberfest. So
Yeah,
Germany and Munich in particular has always had a special place in our heart, and we hadn't been back since we met.
right.
So we thought, what better way to go back for a 10-year wedding anniversary? Sorry, Marissa's giggling because our dog is snoring
I'm really
under
curious
the
if the mic picks it up. He's snoring very loudly.
But yeah, what better way to celebrate that and go back and go to the Christmas markets? Because we've
Yeah,
discovered over the last few years that we really enjoy the like European Christmas markets, and we're like, what better place to go than Germany because
yeah,
they've got some of the best in the world, right?
yeah. And this, even the small ones we went to were probably 4 times the size of Christmas markets we'd been to before.
Yeah.
So it again met all of the expectations. It's just everything else we did, that's where it
Mhm.
falls on the list.
Yeah, and I think everything kind of above this on the list, we were talking about this when we were sort of making the list, is these it's the list kind of goes throughout the year.
It's almost in chronological order.
The things earlier in the year we have ranked higher, and the things later in the year we've ranked lower. And as we said earlier, there has been some sort of
Yeah,
hiccups in this half of the year. We'll talk about that more later. This is all about the positives,
yeah,
but um, there is a reason I think for our bias towards which trip
yeah, for
we
sure.
preferred.
Yeah.
All right. So number 3, this one was an unexpected one that
Yeah.
we took sort of halfway through the year, but it was like literally like not even a week in advance, I don't think.
It
I
was
think
very last minute.
we last minute booked this. We went to these sort of previews before it opened. We went to Epic Universe, which is Universal's
Yeah.
brand new theme park. So we had not originally planned to go at opening, but we had some sort of freeing up of
Of time, we'll talk about that later.
time. Yeah. So, and we needed just something fun to do. We needed like to sort of take our minds off stuff, and we found out that Universal had opened up Epic Universe. It was like a couple of weeks before I think
Mhm.
grand opening, and Universal opened up tickets to everyone just to do like park previews.
Yeah, technical rehearsal, I think, is the term they
Technical
used.
rehearsal, yeah. So, but it was like fully open. It was just like massively reduced amount of people in
Yeah,
there, which was great.
made it lovely.
Yeah,
Not all of the rides were operating at the
yeah.
time, so I think
The Harry Potter
the Harry
ride.
Potter ride, thank you. The Harry Potter ride wasn't open, we weren't able to do that one, and then there was the Werewolf roller coaster,
Yeah.
wasn't open either, but we
Hmm.
wouldn't have done that because it spins.
Yeah.
But it was a very cool experience to go to a brand new theme park
Yeah.
before it even opened,
Hmm.
and we're theme park nerds, we don't really show it a lot on this channel, but
Yeah.
it was the first time for either of us being to a brand new theme park when it was that new, or within a
Hmm.
year of one being open for me. I don't know about you, but
Yeah.
so that was just really, really, really special at a time when we really needed it.
Yeah. And but yeah, it was a great time. Like I said, we probably didn't experience everything, so we'll
Yeah.
probably go back at some point in the future. But But yeah, no, it was just a good, fun sort of what was it? It was like a long weekend. I think we
Yeah, it was a
took
fun
for
distraction.
yeah.
She's got to make her
So
appearance.
Ellie has once again made her weekly appearance on the podcast.
Hmm. As you should.
I
Yay.
we had to stop for a moment because she started chewing on a very squeaky toy. So she's like, "Well, I guess I'll just come make my appearance."
Yep. All right. Well,
We'll just keep going, I
we'll just
guess.
hang out while she does whatever this
So
is.
number two.
Number 2 was our UK road trip.
Mm-hmm.
This was a idea inspired by seeing a vlog about James May from Top Gear owning a pub.
Yep.
And we thought, oh, wouldn't it be so cute to go stay there? And then I forget which one of us said it, probably
I
me.
think it was you. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be fun if we just went around? I think I initially said England, but it became England and Wales and stay in pubs.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Not as fun for you because you did all the driving.
Yeah, I think no, it was still very fun. There was some stressful moments being the one
Yeah.
driving around these sort of smaller roads. We picked a car that was a hair too big
Yeah.
for the environment that we were in, with all the narrow roads.
Yeah. You did
And
great though.
we just scraped the car a little
Little
bit,
bit.
but that's
I'll take it.
that's what like travel insurance is for.
Yeah.
So, but no, it was fantastic. I think we got to experience a whole bunch of places we've never been before,
Yeah.
and just sort of eat some really good pub food, have some good beer, like, and just have it. Not it was fairly like aside from the slightly stressful driving, it was very chill and relaxed and
Yeah.
just like a good time.
It was early spring, so it was beautiful and everything was so green and
Yeah.
flowers were starting to bloom.
Hmm.
Wales was a lovely surprise. Wales
Oh
is
yeah,
underrated. If you
Wales
have
was
not
amazing.
gone,
Hmm.
10 out of 10. We loved Wales.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just it was a great week. It was sort of a whirlwind where we only spent like 1 or 2 nights at each place along the way,
Yeah.
but it was perfect for sort of getting a variety of places. And like we went to Wrexham, which like we saw
Yeah.
I've only seen on TV and stuff. So that was really cool. And just yeah, being able to go across the country and just experience a whole bunch of different stuff in England and Wales was
Yeah.
amazing.
Go
Yeah.
across 2 countries.
Yeah. All right. So now it's time for number one. What was our favorite trip of the year? If you've been around a while and you've watched all our videos for this year, this one's probably not surprising at all what our favorite trip was. And that was our trip to South Africa for
Oh
safari.
my goodness. It was amazing and it far surpassed all my expectations.
Hmm.
And that was a trip I think we both felt like we were going to have our travel feet under us a little longer before we took on
Yeah.
something massive like a safari. And the lodge we found just made everything so easy
Hmm.
and just gave us the most incredible experience.
Yeah, that trip was definitely, it was one we thought we would have to take in 5 years time or something, right? It was
Yeah.
one that it felt very intimidating. But we found sort of like we found a Marriott hotel that was that sort of just included everything, and it made it super easy that we
Made it
didn't
so
have to
easy.
we didn't have to plan every aspect
Yeah.
separately, right?
Right.
So we stayed at a what was essentially a brand new resort when we went there. I think it was 6 months or something. I think it had
Yeah.
been open.
Something like that.
It's called Leopard Sands Kruger Park, and it I think it hands down it's my favorite hotel I've ever stayed at.
Yeah. It was the service, the food, the accommodations, the safari drives themselves, and the driver we had most of the time, just every single aspect of it was top notch. Like there was no part of that resort. There was
Yeah,
no weak part. There was
yeah,
no weak point.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. Just the safari drives alone were fantastic, but yeah, as you said, every aspect was great. Like we could have just stayed at that resort and had a fantastic time even without the safari drives
Yeah.
included, but because all like the whole package itself was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Um,
definitely number one for both of us.
yeah, for sure.
All right.
All
So
right.
that is our ranking of all of our trips from
Mhm.
2025.
It was a great year.
It was a great year.
Yeah.
I think we need a Scandinavia break.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I think we put too much back to back there, like, you know, three different countries in Scandinavia in back to back trips,
Yeah.
and then yeah, so we're like I think we'll make a bit more variety and split up sort of
Yeah.
the style of each trip we take next year.
Yeah.
This was our first rodeo and like being like, you know, having a travel vlog and doing stuff. So we kind of we I think there was more thought put into maybe next year and like
Mhm.
making sure that variety is there
Yeah.
between trips. But we'll talk about that a little later.
Yeah.
I think now let's just do our top three like videos
Okay.
that we released this year from these trips that we just talked about,
Yeah.
right? Do you want to just do like one at a time? We'll go one
Sure.
for one.
Yeah.
What's your top
My
video?
top video is from the South Africa series, and it is the Big Five.
That's also mine. Yeah,
Yeah.
that I think that's not a surprise.
One, that day was so unexpectedly beautiful.
Mhm.
At that point in the trip, we had a lot of great safari drives. We'd seen so many things, but rhinos had remained elusive.
Mhm.
And for about a day, maybe two, the
He was
driver we had,
searching.
Sandros, was like actively searching for rhinos because he knows there's certain parts of the park where they tend to hang out.
Yeah.
And we just kept striking out. And there was another couple in the truck with us, and it was like their last drive, I
Yeah.
think. And Sanders went all out. And in a single drive in one morning, we saw the Big Five, including rhinos. And if you haven't watched that series and you don't know what I'm talking about when I say the Big Five, originally it was a hunting kind of bucket list, and it's really morphed and
Mm.
become a
Like,
photography or sightseeing bucket
yeah.
list. So it's lions, leopards, elephants, water buffalo, and rhinos.
Mhm.
And rhinos are so rare, they're so endangered, there's just not that many of them,
Yeah.
and they're really hard to spot,
Yeah.
especially we were there in winter. Technically, was the winter or summer? We were there in the rainy season. I don't know which.
Technically, no, it was summer. It was technically
Okay,
summer.
I
Yeah.
don't know which is which. Um,
Southern
I
hemisphere,
don't know how
January,
hemispheres work.
summer. Yeah.
Um,
So it was like drier and no, it was
it
wet.
was
It was
wet and
wet.
everything
Sorry.
was very, very lush,
Yeah.
and we saw them in this like glade of bush, and
Mhm.
they just like disappeared.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, so we had to specifically go to this location to get the rhino to see these rhinos. But yeah, we just got super lucky in this. It wasn't even in one day. It was in one morning drive that we saw all
which
five.
is like 3 hours.
And it was like going to the place where he thought the rhinos would be.
Mhm.
We saw everything in that lead up. It was
Yeah,
just like it was mind blowing that we
it was
saw everything.
so incredible to get that all in one drive. But the other reason it's my favorite video is you just did such a your editing and how you put that video together matched
Oh.
how amazing that experience was. I think like the
Mm,
music you picked and how you cut it together was just
yeah.
really encapsulated what it felt like
Yeah.
to experience
I
it.
know, like, I think when we both watched it again, we, like, cried
Yeah,
while
we did.
watching it. But it still pains me to say that video did not get as many views as I thought it
I
would,
know.
but I still love it. You still love
Yeah.
it. If you could do us a favor and you haven't watched that video, if there's any video you watch of ours, go and watch that one. Every time I see, like, one view pick
We
up on
get
that
really
video, I'm like,
excited.
"Yes, someone's watching the rhino video." All right, so number 2, I guess I'll do my number 2, and then you can do your
Okay.
number 2. My second favorite video was our Norway train, adventure. So when
Okay.
we going from Oslo to Flåm,
Yep.
it was a journey we'd sort of done before, but so I kind of had lower expectations of like, "Oh, maybe it's not gonna be as magical and
Yeah.
exciting the second time around," but it was. It was I know your take on the Norway trip was not as perfect this time around, but that still, I think that video was just I love that video. I think it had a good mixture of like, you know, actual travel, like being on trains and
Yeah.
seeing the scenic sort of beauty of Norway around us, but then also arriving in Flom, which is one of our favorite places, and going
Yeah.
to going to dinner at Flamsbrygga, this like hotel restaurant
Yep.
brewery. It was just a great. I just really enjoyed that day, and I think that video sort of just is a good memory of that day. Yeah,
I'm sure it was a great day. I just don't remember it.
yeah, but yeah.
Um,
What's your second?
my second is I forget what the name of the video is, but it's the Big Epic Universe one that's like an hour
It's
and a
like
half long.
the first video in that
Yeah.
series. Yeah.
It's one that was so special. It was at a time when we did that that I really needed it,
Hmm.
and we'd never done another video like that. Yeah, it was just such a fun day, such a fun video, and I loved how much of that park we were able to capture
Yeah.
in that video.
No, it was fun. And that I just remember that I think we made like 4 videos for that.
Yeah.
And I think I pushed them all out like the week that it opened, like
Yeah.
in 1 week. So
Yeah.
I just remember that
Yeah,
took a
I
long
remember
time editing.
you were like, "Oh," because then you were still cutting stuff from the England
The road trip.
Wales
Yeah.
trip, and then you had so there was
We threw this in the middle of all that. Hmm.
so I think there was like 2 days where you edited 4 videos and you were like, "I'm gonna
Yeah.
die."
But it was, yeah, it was good. I'm glad we have it as a good memory of that first time we've been
Yeah.
to a brand new theme park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And okay, so the third one, I was struggling to figure out my third one because like I'm a little biased because I edit all these videos, so
Yep.
I like them all. I
Yeah.
like them all. But there was one, even though it ranked as sort of my lower destination, like sort of lower trip of the year.
Yeah.
There was a video, when we were in Copenhagen, and it was us essentially just trying out all of the best like craft beer spots in Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Copenhagen ended up being a really cool craft brewery
Scene.
scene, right?
Yeah.
And we love beer, like craft beer and stuff
Yeah.
is like we said earlier, we met at Oktoberfest, so beer
Yeah.
is a part of our
It
like
is the foundation of our
yeah.
marriage.
And we live in North Carolina, a town in North Carolina that has like a big craft beer scene. So
Yeah.
that's a part of our lives is like having cool,
Yeah.
trying cool new beers and stuff. And so yeah, it was just a video. It wasn't even that like there wasn't anything even really touristy or anything crazy in the video. It was just us checking out all these different craft beer
Yeah.
spots, trying restaurants that had really cool food, and just having a cool, relaxing day trying out all these different places in Copenhagen.
Yeah.
So,
And I will say that video still has what I think is my all-time favorite bar,
mhm.
which is the Tipsy Mermaid.
Actually, no, the Tipsy Mermaid isn't in that one, funnily
Oh.
enough. That's a
Oh.
different one. So
Oh. Never mind then.
that was I think the video after that where we go around doing all the touristy things. I think we go there at the end of the day.
Oh, just kidding.
But, but no,
Never
there
mind.
is multiple times we go to cool beer places outside of that video.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not
um,
great with chronological time.
and all right, what is your third in the top 3?
So my third favorite video from this year was our Brecon Beacons
Mhm.
video
In
because
Wales, if you
in Wales, yes. So it's a massive, massive nature park in Wales. And so we stayed in that area. That was our favorite pub of the trip, our favorite place we stayed,
Mhm.
and some of the best food of the trip. But we also decided we would go on this hike that we thought would be a little hike. And it was, in fact, not a little hike. And we were just so far outside of our comfort zone. But that hike was
Mm.
so beautiful and so worth it.
Mhm.
And I really had to massively conquer my fear of heights
Yes.
doing that.
Yep.
So it's just a really great memory of a specific place on the trip that we really loved and
Mhm.
a day that felt like just a massive milestone for both of us.
Yeah. And it was one of those days where we did something really hard, and then we ended up sort of like as a reward for completing it. We went back to our like the inn we were saying we really like this pub, and I know the first night we got there you had this like stew that you really liked, and
Yeah.
you were like, I'm finishing this, I'm getting that stew again
Yeah.
because I that's what I want. And it was just yeah.
The thought of that stew and a beer from that pub was the thing that got me through that night.
Yeah, and that just in general, that Brecon Beacons whole area was just so beautiful, and like it was very underrated. I think
Yeah.
it was a place where I don't think tourists don't really go there that often. So it was cool to have a place where like most of the people there were locals.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
it was a great trip. I agree.
Mhm.
That was a good video and a good
Yeah. So that's our top 3 favorite videos.
Yeah.
And so now we've really covered our highlights of the year.
Mhm.
So I thought I'd take a second to acknowledge like the low light of the year and
Yeah.
sort of what's going on in the background that people don't see
Mhm.
in a lot of these videos. And that is in every trip from Epic Universe through really up till now,
Yeah.
I am in the background going through a massive depression, and my anxiety is like skyrocketing.
Mhm.
I've had just really, really a bad time with my mental health this year. And actually, and the reason we went to Epic Universe is because I was in such a bad place that my doctor was like, it basically told me you're taking FMLA leave for 6 weeks. I don't want you
Yeah.
working.
And we've
And
discovered now too that that was more than likely you had a seizure
we
or
think I
as
had a
well.
seizure around that time. And so I unexpectedly had 6 weeks off work. We already had the Copenhagen trip planned, which was
Mhm.
falling in that 6 weeks.
Mhm.
But Grant, you were basically said, we're going to do something fun. We're going to get you out of the house. We're going to get you to not focus on this. And
Yeah.
so you planned Epic Universe as a way to essentially distract me
Yeah.
from what was going on. But I just wanted to kind of acknowledge that in all of these videos, that's going on in the background. And there's definitely times when I go back and watch it and I can tell I'm not fully with it. I'm not fully
Mhm.
present. It's why sometimes, especially if you're having a bit of a monologue, I look very distracted
Mm.
because I am just trying to hold it together.
Yeah.
So that's the low light of
Yeah,
2025.
and I think and then obviously we've alluded to it, but we haven't really talked about it much. Obviously, from in that the Norway trip was the biggest sort of one
Yeah.
where you're out of it because
I had a seizure on the way there.
yeah, and we won't go into all that now. There's a whole video back on the channel if you
Yeah.
want to know exactly what happened there. But yeah, you in particular in that one were very sort of out of that whole like you were out of it sort of that whole trip.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's understandable,
Yeah.
but that is sort of the one positive though of this low moment is that we do have these videos now to go back on,
Yeah.
especially when you barely remember that trip,
Yeah.
and so I think we at least do have that.
Yeah. No,
So
I'm really glad. I think the vlog and the travel is like one of the things that kept me going this year. And
yeah.
so, and even without the seizure, mental health messes with your brain, obviously. And my memory's
Hmm.
not great, even aside from the seizure. So it just
Yeah.
helps to have these videos to look back on.
Yeah, and I think, like, travel's always been one of our, like, main things we want like, it's obviously one of our main passions, and but I think we've always sort of had, like travel is always the thing that we've always, like even before we vlogged, we would try and plan trips out, like,
Yeah.
something to look forward to and, like, all that's
Yeah.
it's very important.
Yeah.
So,
Which is the perfect segue.
perfect segue
Well
to
done, Grant.
what is planned for 2026. It's a good one. There's not as many right now as this year. 'Cause what did we do? Like 6 trips this year. So
Mhm.
we've planned 4. They are all it's a little more spaced next year to I think it's a
Yeah.
bit more evenly spaced.
Yep.
So we're not sort of going without as big a
A
like
gap.
gap between some of the trips.
Yeah.
But next year's is gonna be just as exciting, maybe even more
Oh, way
exciting.
more exciting.
Yeah,
Way
I
more.
think there's definitely a couple of places on our plan that I'm very excited about.
Yep. Same.
We'll see if they sort of end up topping like South Africa from this year.
It's
We'll see.
possible.
But we'll start out just like in like chronological order,
Yeah.
like the calendar year. Our next trip.
The
So
the first thing we have planned.
yeah, so once these Christmas market Germany videos are done, right after that, you'll see our Portugal series start.
Yeah.
So we're going to Lisbon in sort of mid to late January.
Yep.
And so we're mainly just going to Lisbon. We're staying in Lisbon for about a week, but we've done some research. There's a lot of cool like coastal towns that are like
Yeah.
easily accessible by train that we can do day trips to and stuff like that. So that one
Yeah.
I'm excited. I don't really know anything about
I
Portugal.
don't know anything either. I feel like our trips fall into two categories of things where we have very high expectations
Yeah,
and places we have no expectations. And
yeah,
this is a no expectations one, which is fun because
yeah,
I that's how Norway started for us.
yeah, for
And we
sure.
were so pleasantly surprised. So I'm very excited to go somewhere where I have no expectations going in.
Yeah. No, it should be good. Yeah, it was definitely it was one of those ones we just like we needed to pick somewhere in the like our winter
Yeah.
that we could travel that wouldn't be super cold.
Yep.
And we're like we wanted something not too far from us on the east coast of the US. Like we
Yep.
wanted a trip that wasn't too far because our other trips later in the year are very far. So we wanted something a little easier to do, and the weather will be somewhat mild
Yep.
for winter.
The second trip of this year,
Yeah.
this is one of the big ticket trips,
Yes.
is we are going to South Korea.
Yeah, we're going to Seoul.
Yes.
This is going to be around like either April or May,
Yeah.
kind of that timing. Nothing is fully like in stone yet, but we've got at least the rough timing and like when
Mhm.
we're going.
Yeah.
And we do obviously still need to do some like exact planning for what we're doing there, like
Yeah.
specifically. But in general, it's just going to be. It's always been on our list of a place we've really wanted to go.
Yeah.
Like I know we both like enjoy like Korean sort of food in general, so I'm really excited about going around and getting like trying some of their street food and stuff like that.
I'm really excited about all the skincare I'm going to buy.
That's yeah.
We're going to
That's
need a separate suitcase. I'm so excited.
but no, I'm really looking forward to going back to Asia. We went
Yeah.
to Japan last year, but we didn't know Asia this year, so
Yeah.
really excited to go back to Asia. But yeah, that's definitely a much longer journey to get there. So the trip after that, so like our summer, like
Our
summertime, sort of
summertime trip.
July,
Yeah.
where this is probably the one that's most likely to maybe change a little bit because
Yep.
we haven't fully committed. But our plan as of now is that we're going to do a easier trip because it's
Mm.
in between. It's right after sort of
Yeah.
South Korea, which was very long. Is to go to London, but then get the train and go to Amsterdam.
Yeah.
I think is our plan as of now. For go to
Mhm.
Amsterdam for a couple of days, go back to London. So
Yeah.
we love London. I lived there for about a year, so I have it's a soft spot
Yeah.
for me. We've been back a couple times. The last time was for an afternoon
Yeah.
at the end of our road trip.
Yeah.
So I think we're kind of like hey, we could go back again.
Yeah. Apparently
know.
now if we don't go to London every year we die.
And then
The grand
the grand finale,
finale.
unless like we could obviously add trips between
Yeah.
now and then, but
We probably will.
we probably will.
Can
But
I say it?
yes, so in October,
We are going to Singapore
yes,
for the F1 Singapore Grand Prix.
yeah. So this one had
So
to be
excited.
locked in fairly early. I don't think we've booked flights yet, but we've got the hotel booked, the tickets for the race booked. So all that
Yeah.
is sort of locked in now.
Which one, I think you were I mean, you're very smart all the time, but Grant made the risky choice to book the hotel first
Mhm.
before we even had tickets.
Yeah.
And then tickets went on sale and it felt like trying to get tickets to the Eras tour. It was so stressful.
But yeah, we were lucky where we've got a reservation for the JW Marriott Singapore, which is like right next to a part of the track. Well, like, and if you don't know anything about Formula One, the Singapore Grand Prix happens in the streets of Singapore. It is not a traditional racetrack. It is just the streets, and they turn it into a racetrack.
Yep.
For the weekend. And yeah, so we were staying at the JW Marriott, which is like right next to the track. So I wanted to make sure we could secure something right really close. So I was
Yeah.
able to get that. And then thankfully we got tickets sort of a couple weeks after
Yeah.
we made that booking.
And so our tickets are 3-day walkabout tickets, which means we don't have like seats in a grandstand, but we have access to walking the entire perimeter of the track.
Yeah, it's so I think they're technically a premiere or walkabout. So I think there's actually two different categories. Like walkabout can be like can walk around a
Mhm.
certain part. As you said, yeah, we can go around the entire circuit, which
Yeah.
that's half of what we wanted to do there. Like we didn't really
Yeah.
want to go and just sit in a grandstand. We wanted to experience the whole like atmosphere of
Yeah.
the Grand Prix in Singapore and go walk around, find different spots,
Yeah.
we don't necessarily have to watch the entire thing from one spot and
Yeah.
we get to experience it all because there's like full concerts and everything
It's
there.
nuts.
There's two different stages for concerts like every night.
It's
And
crazy. There's so much to it, and we'll get to be there for the practice sessions, the qualifying, and the race itself.
yeah.
So I'm super excited, and if I run into Toto Wolff at the hotel, I might die.
We're staying at a Marriott property. They are a
It's
sponsor of Mercedes,
it's
so there's a
possible.
slim chance
Yeah.
maybe. But we are sort of staying there a few days before and after.
Yeah.
So we'll obviously just do normal Singapore things too,
Yeah.
outside of the three like the Friday, the Saturday, and the Sunday are the
Mhm.
like race times. But even in saying that, it is because it's so warm there, they do the races in the nighttime. So
Yeah.
we'll probably even still have like
Day stuff.
morning,
Yeah.
afternoon before the race stuff starts anyway. So
Yep.
I'm really looking
I'm
forward to this
so
one.
excited.
Yeah.
We've wanted to go to Singapore for a while. That one's really been on our list. And then this year, I don't even know how it happened, but we became Formula One fans,
Yeah.
and it just made sense. We wanted to go to a race. This is a really cool race to go to.
Yeah. I
Except
think for a first race, this one sounds like you can't get any better, I think, from
and the kind of the cherry on top of all of this is we are both Lando Norris fans, and if you don't follow
Mm.
F1, he is the current reigning world champion. So we'll get to see him
Yeah, while he's the world
while he's the world
champion.
champion, which is
Yeah.
fun.
That's yeah, that will be really exciting. It's kind of it's tough knowing that that's like the last trip next year. Like we have to
Yeah.
get through all
Oh
these
my
other ones.
gosh, your life is so hard.
But it is funny that it's like, yeah, the one I'm looking forward to the most is at the end. So I need to make sure I have to kind of put that to the side and be excited about all the
That's why
others
in
still.
my mind I'm calling it the grand finale because it's just gonna cap off
Yeah.
the year, although we'll probably do something
We,
after
we
that.
might do
Yeah,
something. We
probably.
might do something after that. Who knows?
Knowing
Yeah.
us.
Knowing if we go somewhere in October, we'll want to go somewhere over either Thanksgiving or
Yeah.
Christmas. We'll
Yeah,
probably be like, we got to do something else
yep.
as well. So we'll see. But yeah, that's our plan for next year. So definitely make sure
Yeah.
you're subscribed if you're not already, because if any of those videos sound appealing to you, like
Yeah.
we're got a whole range of different stuff next year. So
Yeah.
very excited. And but yeah, I think that kind of wraps up this
For sure.
video,
Yeah.
right? Like I think this was a fun little look back and look ahead, I
Yeah.
guess, to next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So happy New Year,
Happy
everyone.
New Year.
Yeah.
Feels weird to say that.
It does say weird to that. Yeah, next podcast will be in 2026. So we'll
Whoop,
see
whoop.
you in that one.
All right.
So see
Thanks,
you next
everyone.
time.
Bye.
Bye.